Okay, we're going to talk about something different on tonight's segment. Only Liz Duenas is here. Her partner is AWOL. Liz?
She had appointments that she couldn't break.
She's working and she's making money. But we're going to talk about something, as I said. We're talking about inafamalik, which, of course, in Guam's native tongue of Chamorro means to make good.
Good, to make right.
And essentially, that's what you guys do as realtors anyway.
Yes, both Gina and I are involved with nonprofit organizations as part of our giving back to the community. So Gina's involved with Habitat, and I'm involved with Inafamalik. Gina's the president of Habitat, and I'm the chairperson of Inafamalik. Now, Inafamalik is a nonprofit organization. They've been, it was started in 1983 by Pat Wolf, John Durking, and Charles Troutman. I mean, they felt the need of peacemaking.
Three lawyers.
Yes, 3 lawyers. And it's in Inafamalik, we conduct mediations. We have volunteer mediators who are trained to mediate. And the process is, it's an informal process where 2 parties who are in dispute come together, and we, as mediators, sit between the 2 to facilitate the process. So we, ask questions. Each of them have the time to air what their differences are. And our objective, of course, is at the end, is hopefully come to some agreement between both parties. We put it in writing. Many of our cases come from the courts. The courts, rather than the judge deciding on the case, they would sometimes say, why don't you 2 go, they order that they go to mediation.
Because
first.
trial is costly, it's lengthy, you
yes,
got to get the jury.
And they're trying to get, we tell the participants, this is an opportunity for both sides to come to an agreement rather than going to court and the judge makes the decision and both parties may not be happy with that decision. But the opportunity to come together to air it. It's so interesting because sometimes people haven't spoken in 5 years or 3 years or 10 years because of a dispute. And then when we meet with them and finally we come to some resolution, you could see the relief and healing, and it's making peace.
Because if it's under the supervision of a properly trained mediator and someone professional, they're going to make sure that there is some give and take and hopefully have amicable solutions.
Our office is in Agana, so not only do we take cases that come in from the courts, we also take in walk-ins. So people. We've had cases of land disputes, boundary disputes, real estate related. We do have a number of real estate agents who are trained and are volunteer mediators. So although I'm the chairperson of Inafamalik, I'm also a trained mediator. So we're going to be conducting a mediation course, which is, I believe, about 18 hours. Pat Wolf does the training. And the training would actually to be encouraging people come and train in mediation, but we need volunteers. We're actually shorthanded. We need lead mediators and co-mediators. So we're pretty short-staffed. And the past few months, we've been kind of getting caught up with our backlog.
We've done a couple stories on that.
Yes,
and I assume that if you say the majority of your caseload comes directly from the court, you guys are slammed with work.
Well, yes. And we do have people who come in wanting to know about it. Of course, there are fees, but just bear in mind, it's a nonprofit organization. We also would like to encourage people out there to call us. We need volunteers. Because we're nonprofit, we need to start doing some fundraising efforts. Parts of our funding have been grants, but those are running dry.
Okay, now to contextualize though, because your expertise is obviously real estate, so you can help out in the area of land disputes, encroachments and the things that we talk about in this program. But what about people out there that they say, I've got a little bit of a background in family counseling, or I know about other types of things?
We have all career fields that are volunteers in Inafamalik. Counselors, teachers, they volunteered. But again, over time, our count has dwindled. So we need to refresh that. We even conduct mini trainings, having different people come in and talk, like Child Protective Services, child custody.
Is this what they talk about when they say, Liz, when they say, like, we reached an out-of-court settlement? Could you actually go through the mediation process? And it's not one of those things where it has to become public record, and it's a private matter that won't basically be publicized as long as you keep quiet about it.
Everything in Afamalik is confidential.
Okay.
Whether it be in the meeting room, they cannot even take the information to court and say, well, this was said in mediation.
And usually the stipulation is you reach some sort of, again, an amicable agreement, but
Right.
neither party can talk about that
Right,
from that point
about
on.
what happened in mediation. So what happens is if they form an agreement, then let's say it's court ordered, that mediation agreement goes to the court and the judge follows it pretty much because it was an agreement between both parties. So, the court follows that. But bear in mind, the great part about it is both parties come to the agreement. So, sometimes it's a give and a take. They may
Right.
not necessarily get everything they want. And I've got to say, there have been cases where we come to mediation and an agreement isn't followed. Not agreement that, it's not that an agreement isn't followed, it's where they don't come to an agreement.
Right.
Or
They just can't make things work.
They can't make things work. But the agreement is basically something to fall back on. Both parties may be flexible. Let's say for child visitation or custody, both parties are flexible. But if things don't work out, they can fall back to what is in writing, what is agreed upon between both parties.
Okay, well, tell you what, we got to run, but what number can people reach you at if they would like to volunteer?
They
their
can
services?
reach me at 687-0911 or call the Anafamalik office.
All right, thanks so much, Liz. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, that is our time. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you the next time we're on.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E. Explore your world. This primetime lineup is brought to you by IT&E. Explore your world.